A very good morning to one and all. Welcome to the new video of Nerdy Scientists, and we are very happy that you all are enjoying our videos. And there's a lot of big rise in the watch time from the viewers and the likes we are getting, the views we are getting. We're very happy with the way you are encouraging us. And now we are looking forward to a new update, a very important update. I thought I need to elaborate it, and so I downloaded the complete publication article so that we can go into the insights of this. This article is about a very recent study which was done by the scientists of China from the laboratory of enteric pathogenic microbiology, and it is known as Jingzhou Provincial Center for Disease Control and Prevention, China. And this center has actually been successful in successfully completing the first clinical trial for a vaccine to fight against the adeno strain of COVID-19, the SARS-CoV-2. So we are looking forward to understand how this kind of vaccine is being developed, and we'll go forward to see the methods, the results what they have obtained through this article. So let's go and let's start off with this new session of the new update of COVID-19 and the new clinical trial which has actually been successful. So coming to the vaccine, this vaccine is said to be protective against the COVID-19. It's actually very much in need that we need to find a COVID-19 vaccine, and we have been discussing from past few weeks. So their aim was to evaluate the safety, tolerability and immunogenicity of a recombinant adenovirus type 5 vectored COVID-19 vaccine, expressing the spike glycoprotein of a severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus strain. So you could see this vectored vaccine of adenovirus type strain is actually being successful in creating a very wide difference from other vaccines which are being going through these clinical trials. So what are the methods followed? If you go forward to understand what were the actual methods followed, we could see they did a dose escalation, single center, open label, non-randomized phase 1 clinical trial of an adeno 5 vectored COVID-19 vaccine in Wuhan. And these healthy adults aged between 18 and 60 years, there's a lot of range, 18 and 60 years, were sequentially enrolled and allocated to one of the 3 dose groups. One is 5 into 10 power 10, 1 into 10 power 11, 1.5 into 10 power 11. So there's a lot of range of doses which are being used to receive an intramuscular injection of vaccine. The primary outcome was adverse events in the 7 days post-vaccination period, and safety was assessed over 28 days post-vaccination. Specific antibodies were measured with ELISA tests, and the neutralizing antibody responses induced by the vaccination were detected with SARS-CoV-2 virus neutralization, and pseudovirus neutralization tests were also conducted. So these are various kind of tests to actually analyze how this vaccine is going to work. So T-cell responses were also assessed by enzyme-linked immunospot and flow cytometry assays. This study was registered with clinicaltrials.government. So these are the few kind of outcomes, the methodologies which are actually being adopted during this process. And now what were the results out of this? What were the results we actually found out of this? Between March 16th and March 27th, they screened about 195 individuals for eligibility. Out of them, 108 participants, that is around 51% male, 49% female, mean age is 36.3 years, were recruited and received the low dose, that is around 1 into 10 power 11. So at least one adverse reaction within the first 7 days after the vaccination was reported in 30 patients. It is around 83% of the participants. So you could see one adverse reaction was at least a minimum of one adverse reaction was a majority in the participants you could find. And 30 participants in the middle dose group and 27 participants in the high dose group. So in the low dose group there was a majority, and if you could see, the lowest was at the highest dose group, you could see only 27 participants, that is around 75%, were actually detecting an adverse reaction. So the most common injection site adverse reaction was pain, which was reported in 58 vaccine patient recipients, and the most commonly reported systematic adverse reactions were fever, was around 46% of the patients received that kind of, got that kind of outcome of symptom. Fatigue was there. Fatigue was around 44%. Headache 39%. Muscle pain 17%. So most adverse reactions that were reported in all dose groups were mild or neutralizing antibodies. The moderate in severity. So the whatever the reactions are, most of them were not severe. So that is a very positive sign. You could say there are symptoms coming, but they are not so severe. They are actually very much mild to moderate. So that's not a big problem. No serious adverse event was noted within 28 days of post-vaccination period. Very, very important result this is. Getting no adverse reaction for around 28 days, serious adverse reaction, is really a very important event for, when you're actually undergoing the first clinical trial. So specific T cell response peaked at day 14 post-vaccination. So there was a specific T cell response which had actually got in rise in the day 14th day of post-vaccination. So what we would interpret out of these all kind of results, what we actually found out? The interpretation was that the AD5 vectored COVID-19 vaccine is tolerable and immunogenic at 28 days post-vaccination, and humoral responses against SARS-CoV-2 peaked at day 28 post-vaccination in healthy adults, and rapid specific T cell responses were noted from day 14 post-vaccination. So you could see various humoral responses were actually being recorded against the SARS-CoV-2 at the day 28, and there was T cell responses post day 14. So these findings actually suggested that the AD5 vectored COVID-19 warrants further investigation. So definitely there's a need that you actually go forward and do a lot of further research, but at present you could see that these responses and these results, which actually show that there is not much severe adverse reaction be detected, that actually proves that this vaccine is somehow helping us to cure COVID-19 infection when you actually go forward with a treatment of around 28 days. So that 28 days of treatment, you could actually find that we have taken a high dose of around the maximum what these guys have taken, these scientists have taken, is around 5 to 10 power 10. So what could be the possibility if you go for more amount of dosage, or somewhere around 2.5 to 3.5? We have to find out what could be the results by doing further research. And we also need to find out why these mild or moderate symptoms are also being created. The mild and moderate symptoms which are being caused in the patients, what is the sign, what is the actual need for these symptoms which are actually coming out, though we're actually giving patients vaccine. So what are the loose points of this vaccine? That's what we need to find out after doing further investigation. So if you could actually do that further investigation, we can actually understand how this vaccine is working. Every vaccine has its own way of mechanism of action, we know that. So this vaccine needs to be further investigation needs to be done, so that we can understand how this vaccine is working on COVID-19 patients. So this is the complete insight of this study, which is a very recent study. We actually got it 5-6 hours ago. We got this update in Lancet Journal. This publication is actually published, and we're looking forward for actually going getting into the deep topic of this AD5 vectored COVID-19 vaccine. You need to understand how this SARS-CoV-2 is actually reacting to this vaccine, and that's what is very much important. We have a lot of risk factors. We don't know how many risk factors we actually being infected after being infected with COVID-19. It could be pneumonia, acute respiratory distress syndrome. All these are one of the serious factors. But once post 28 days of treatment with this vaccine, we're not finding those kind of risk factors at all. So that's a very good sign, very, very important sign. And we need to understand that this is the only vaccine, this is the first vaccine which has actually been very much successful in completing the first clinical trial. There have been many vaccines, there were around 30 vaccines, I repeat, 30 vaccines which actually gone through the clinical trials, but no vaccine was successful in actually passing through the first clinical trial. And this 85 vectored COVID-19 vaccine is actually been very much successful in passing through. It's very, very big accomplishment for the China, and they have actually been very much successful in producing this kind of research in their laboratories. And so there is some research in context that I wanted to make you understand, that this clinical trials are actually being done in a very secured operation, and there's a lot of added values for this study which we actually need to know. So the first in-human trial, this was the first in-human trial, that the 85 vectored COVID-19 vaccine was tolerable and immunogenic in healthy adults. So one dose of the vaccine at all dose concentrations tested induced both specific antibody and T cell responses in most patients. So you could see, it could be any of this dose, 5 into 10 power 10, 1 into 10 power 11, 1.5 into 10 power 11. It could be any kind of range of dose you're giving. It's induced both specific antibody and T cell responses in most participants. So rapid specific T cell antibody responses were noted at day 14, and specific humoral responses against severe acute respiratory syndrome, that is SARS coronavirus 2, peaked at day 28. So post vaccination. So although we found that the high dose vaccine tended to be more immunogenic, you have to understand the statement. Although we found that high dose vaccine tended to be more immunogenic than the middle dose and low dose vaccines, it was also associated with a higher reactogenicity. Severe fever, fatigue, dyspnea, muscle pain, joint pain were reported in some of the recipients in the high dose group. So though this high dose is helping us to be cured with COVID-19, there are few kind of negative points which are actually associated with this high dose treatment. Why? Is actually having a higher reactogenicity. That's the reason why we need to do further investigation. We need to find out the right dosage. Till we find out this high dosage, the correct dosage form which is actually required to be successful in treating COVID-19 patients, along with not causing any side effects because of the usage of this vaccine, we can actually develop a new kind of investigation through this. The correct dosage form is very much important. So that's what the scientists are actually implying with. That's why there's a reason to do further research. The dosage form, how much amount of dose for this vaccine could be possible to treat and also improvise the health of patients, along with not causing any complications. So there are a few implications of all available evidence which scientists need to understand, wanted us to understand, is that many vaccine candidates are in rapid development, including recombinant protein based vaccines, replicating or non-replicating viral vector based vaccines, DNA vaccines and mRNA vaccines, live attenuated vaccines, and inactivated virus vaccines. So you could see how many vaccines are there, various types of vaccines which are actually being investigated thoroughly to get a possibility how we could treat this COVID-19. So all of these vaccine platforms have advantages and disadvantages, and it is too soon to predict which will be more successful. Too soon. You have to underline the statement. Our study suggests that there is a potential for further investigation of the 85 vectored COVID-19 vaccine for prevention of COVID-19. So you could see this 85 vectored COVID-19 vaccine is actually thrown out a very big possibility for us. We have these kind of sectors. There are a lot of vaccines in them. the recombinant protein-based vaccines, for instance, or replicating or non-replicating viral vector vaccines. All these vaccines, there are a lot of types in it. And if you could investigate more on how these vaccines act and how are they similar to AD5 vectored vaccine, or how could they actually prevent, if we actually go forward and do clinical trials on some other type of mRNA vaccine or the recombinant protein based vaccine, we may find a result which is actually better than the AD5 vectored vaccine. We don't know. So there's a need to, very important need, that we have to understand this potential for all these groups of vaccines to be proved to be very much essential in the treatment of COVID-19 infection. So that this kind of concept needs to be really improvised. I feel there are various kind of vaccines which are already been developed, already been used in the market for various other disorders, various other infections, which could be a possibility to treat COVID-19. And most importantly, these 4-5 types of vaccines, which are actually very crucial, and we need to understand that these vaccines can actually bring a big breakthrough in this kind of treatments of this kind of COVID-19 infection. Or then be further, if you do further research, we may also find out that the various other strains of this COVID-19 which may attack us in future, they may be more stronger than this COVID-19 infection. We can't actually start from the first and do research. We can't go for further lockdowns in the coming years if we actually find out that there is more stronger strain coming up of COVID-19. So we need to wait in our houses to make the scientists come up with a solution. We need to be very much pre-planned to it. And I believe that these types of vaccines, these vector vaccines which actually have been available, if we actually be successful in treating COVID-19 with these kind of vaccines, we need to do further investigation right now so that we can prevent the future possibilities or outcomes of various other types of strains of COVID-19. So this kind of things need to be discussed thoroughly, understood thoroughly, so that we come up with a solution which is really very important to treat COVID-19 infection. So that's what I wanted to tell you and make you understand that this is a very crucial factor, and which we can actually try to understand, need to try to understand as science enthusiasts, to actually create a possibility, create a solution to prevent this debacle of COVID-19 infection. So as we discussed about the methods and procedures, I don't want to elaborate on it. I wanted to show you the table, a result of various kind of symptoms and possibilities, what this study actually make us understand. You could see the low dose group, middle dose group, and high dose group here. According to the age groups, you could see the percentage of symptoms which was actually being caused. Like 7 participants actually had hypertension, chronic bronchitis, gout, and also the hepatitis B virus, 7%. And others all showed a very minor symptoms, as we actually discussed before. You could see the percentages here according to the age groups, the sex, the underlying diseases, and the pre-existing adenotype 5 neutralizing antibody. You could see various kind of percentage proportions. You could see through which we can actually understand how this vaccine is actually acting and producing mild to moderate symptoms in various age groups according to the gender biases and also according to diseases. So this is a difference. You could see the various percentages which actually make us understand of the severity of the symptoms which are actually being caused. So yeah, this is one of the important baseline characteristics, and you could see here an elaborate effort of making us understand the various percentages of symptoms which are actually being caused in the first successful clinical trial of this vaccine. We may find out some more findings after this vaccine goes through the second and third phase of clinical trial, but at present you could see these are the few percentage proportions you could actually understand about this vaccine, the AD5 vectored vaccine. And according to this, I feel within the first week you could see the highest is the pain, as they said, and then comes the fatigue in the systemic adverse reactions type, and overall pain is the thing. Most probably the pain is actually being the common factor, the common mild to moderate symptom which is being caused, and that's not a big deal. That's not a big problem. I feel after second and third clinical trial, scientists would be able to modify this vaccine possibly, and that symptom would definitely be can be decimated. It's not a big deal. That could be substantiated. That's not a problem. So I feel this virus actually has a very good deal of outcome, and if we actually improvise things, we can actually find out a very crucial breakthrough through this vaccine, and it could be the first vaccine which could actually treat COVID-19. That's very important breakthrough accordingly. So once we go forward, once this this vaccine goes to the final stage of clinical trial, you can actually find out the percentage of probability. At present, I would say it would be 90% possibility that this could be the first vaccine for treating the COVID-19. By comparing the other outcomes, the other results what we are getting from other vaccines, this is a better result, better outcome. But there's a lot of further investigation which needs to be done in order to come to a final conclusion. But at present, I could say 90% there's definitely a possibility that this vaccine could actually be the first COVID-19 vaccine which could successfully treat various kind of strains of COVID-19 infection. So you could see here the T cell response, as they said, during the first 14 days. That's very important. You could see the rise in the day 28. You could see the higher dose is actually dominating everything till day 28. And there are a lot of possibilities. If you go forward and read this paper, it definitely will help you to understand more about this study. And this was done through the support of Center for Disease Control, the Hubei Provincial Center for Disease Control, to be specific, in China. So yeah, that is about the brief information about this COVID-19 update, and this vaccine is definitely very important to understand and analyze, and this definitely will give rise to various other mindsets, ideologies and methodologies which actually could be produced by understanding various facts about this studies. And there are a lot more studies which are actually going to come in the coming few weeks. We will update you as soon as we get an official info from the international journals. That's it. I feel I'm really very much happy that this kind of vaccines are being produced, and we need to take initiative to study these kind of studies, this kind of research proposals, so that we understand how the research is done in a clinical trial level, how research is done when you actually are synthesizing a drug or formulating a drug or designing a drug. There are various stages in drug innovation, and this is one of the most final stage where you actually get to produce a vaccine. So I believe that these kind of vaccinations need to be innovated, introduced into the medical sector in a rapid way in the coming days, because we might find, according to scientists, we might find a lot more viral infections which are going to infect the world. It could be more severe than COVID-19. So it's important that we look forward, do our own research, take part as science enthusiasts, to become researchers in various fields of interest, and come forward with various kind of ideas. In order to do that, we need to be prepared, and we need to understand that this kind of situation may come up anytime in future. So we need to be very much careful in understanding or taking care of each and every level of research what we're doing. So these kind of papers will help us to understand how this research is being done. So according to my suggestion, go forward, do study these papers, these kind of papers which are going to come up in future and what are there at present, so that you can understand how research is being done in different levels of vaccine development, so that you understand how vaccines are being prepared, and most importantly in COVID-19 infection, how this vaccine is helping in treating the COVID-19, and what other vaccines are not able to do. What is the possibility, or what is the safety immunogenicity which is actually being created because of this kind of vaccine is not being possible in other vaccines. What is the reason? We need to find out, we need to understand, we need to discuss about how these kind of things are actually being happening. So I thank you all for watching this video again, and I would love to join discussions in the YouTube channel. We actually do it. It could be you could follow our Instagram, Nerdy Scientist Instagram page. In that you could actually find out we are actually being updating about COVID-19 and various other research topics in the scientific area. And I hope you understood about this vaccine. Do follow more research in the recent published journals like Lancet, Nature, elsewhere, so that you can actually understand how important this vaccination area is at this point of time. And I thank you all for watching this video. Be healthy, be safe, be supportive to your parents, and do share knowledge. Do share this video if you like it. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll be back with a new video. Thank you.